This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Good morning and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Thursday, December 2. In Squiz Kids Today, economic bounce on the cards, the world's most overdue library book, Matildas hold their own, and why ducklings swim in a line. That's what's making news, kid style.
The lowdown.
There was a glimmer of good news among the COVID headlines yesterday, as there was evidence the Australian economy performed better in the past few months than was widely expected. Gross Domestic Product, or GDP as it's called, is a measure of how much value has been added to the economy over a period of time. The more that the GDP grows, the healthier the economy is, and in theory at least, the better off we are as a country. And in the 3 months leading up to September, that number shrank by only 1.9%. And while something shrinking that's meant to be growing may not sound like a good thing, the shrinkage was a lot smaller than economists had expected. It's a little bit like celebrating the fact you got a D on your report card instead of an F. Or at least that's how it seemed yesterday, as economists said things were looking up for next year and that the economy was in good shape for a rebound. So huzzah to that!
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Boise, Idaho, which is in the middle of the United States of America, where a library book that was borrowed 111 years ago has been returned. The librarians in the Boise Public Library tweeted a photo of the book called The New Chronicles of Rebecca, noting that the overdue fine when the book was borrowed back in 1910 was 2 cents a day, and that given that the book is 111 years overdue, that meant a fine of over $800 was owed. But they were just happy to have the book back and dismissed the fine. The New Chronicles of Rebecca. Must either be a really long book, or it's been borrowed by a really slow reader.
Sport time.
A question mark continues to hang over where exactly in Australia the 5th test of the upcoming Ashes cricket competition will be held. It was supposed to be staged in Perth, but state border closures there and COVID restrictions mean none of the players can get there. Melbourne's MCG and Sydney's SCG have both put their hands up, eager to host the series of games. Meanwhile, the Matildas have made up for their 3-0 loss on the weekend to world champion women's soccer stars Team USA by drawing 1-1 in Newcastle on Tuesday night. A goal in the last 2 minutes of play by Kaya Simon equalled the game for the Aussies. It wasn't quite as close a game when Latvia took on England in the World Cup qualifier yesterday, though. England won 20-0. Ouch. The Women's World Cup will be held in Australia in 2023, and it will be a feast of excellent soccer action. And yes, you may officially start getting excited.
Animal Kingdom.
Ever wondered why ducklings swim in a row behind their mum? No, it's not that their Year 1 teacher was super strict about lining up properly to get into assembly. It's all about physics. Physics is the branch of science that deals with motion, energy, and matter. And when those fuzzy little ducklings swim behind their mama, they're saving a lot of energy. A researcher built a computer model that simulated the waves created by a mother duck while she's swimming and realised that if a duckling was in just the right spot behind her, it would be able to ride the waves created by mum's kicking and not need to kick as much itself. And because sharing is caring, each duckling in the row passes the waves along to the next. As long as they pay attention, keep up, and stay in line. If they get distracted, however, they fall behind and have to work harder. Which, come to think of it, does sound something like my Year 1 teacher would have said.
Time for the Squiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What was the name of the book returned 111 years after it was borrowed? That's right, it was The New Chronicles of Rebecca. Question number 2. What does the abbreviation GDP stand for in economic speak? Well done. It's Gross Domestic Product. Question number 3. Which 2 Aussie cricket grounds are vying to host the 5th Ashes Test? Yeah, it's the MCG and the SCG.
Shout-outs.
It's December 2, birthday of pop star Britney Spears and rugby league player Payne Haas. And safe to say a birthday is pretty much all those two have in common. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Luke from Cannon Hill, George from Melbourne, Lewis from Glen Innes, Geordie from Albany Hills, Asher from Abbotsford, Renee from Bonnyrigg, Anais from Western Australia, and a special birthday shout out to Holly in Graceville. And classroom shout outs today go to Class 4P at Queanbeyan Public School, Class Koalas at Franklin School in Canberra, Class 4M at Birkdale State School, and Class 2-3T at Vasey Public School. Also to Class 4-3A and Miss Ashcroft at Wilkins Public School in Marrickville, and to Grade 5 and Mr Marini at Mount Waverley Heights Primary School. Finally, the students in Class 3 Carr Sutherland at Santa Sabina College in Strathfield wish to wish their teacher Mr Carr all the best for his move to the mountains, and to thank him for being an amazing teacher. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you'd like a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.